Today, I want to talk to you about getting paid late as a freelancer or entrepreneur because listen, it's not just annoying. I mean, it is annoying, but it's not just annoying. Getting paid late also affects your cash flow, and cash flow is one of those things that you really need to protect as an entrepreneur. This means the money that's actually coming in and staying in your bank account that you can then use to pay your own salary, pay contractors or freelancers, pay for services and tools that you use in the day-to-day of your business. It is really, really important that you have positive cash flow, meaning that you're not going into debt or you're not really scraping the bottom of your bank accounts every single month, which means you need your clients to pay you on time. So today I'm going to share with you the top 3 things that I do to make sure that I get paid on time every time. And today's video is made in partnership with Melio, which is an amazing service that freelancers and entrepreneurs can use to both pay their own contractors and freelancers and tools and services that they use on time really easily using a credit card. And it's also something that we can use to accept payments from other businesses just by sharing a simple link. It is so incredibly easy to use and such a valuable tool to have in your toolkit. Here's how it works. All right, check out how easy this is. All you need to do is set up your custom link. Mine is melio.me/Latasha. And then you can just send this out to people via Instagram, DM, email, whatever you need to do. And they can pay you your requested amount. They just need to fill in the invoice number. And there you go. It's a super easy link for them to use. You can, of course, request money from them directly by clicking on Create New Request and either adding the invoice manually, uploading it, or uploading a list of invoices via CSV, filling in the details here. I'm invoicing myself, as you can see, and they will be sent an invoice with an invoice number, a link to pay, and then, of course, as the employee or the client yourself, you can pay your bills through Melio. Just enter in your vendor information, their invoice number, and choose how frequently you want these invoices to go out. This is especially great for contractors if you want to pay them a monthly amount or maybe a weekly check. You can do that right through Melio. Set that out to go out automatically, and you are all set. Okay, first tip for getting paid on time is to have a contract. No surprise here. Having a contract really does prevent a lot of those issues that come up throughout freelance relationships. So payment is one of those things that you want to make sure that you have listed in the contract. Something I see a lot of people making the mistake of doing is saying the payment amount, saying, hey, I'll invoice you every month for $1,500 or whatever the payment amount is, but there's really no mention of how the payment is going to be transferred, what payment methods you accept, and so on and so forth. So for example, if I were going to be invoicing using Melio, I would put that into my contract. I would say you will receive a Melio link on this day, on the first of every month that you can pay with a credit card to get your payment completed. I also encourage you to list out the payment methods that you don't accept. For example, I personally do not accept checks in my business. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, it's just very annoying to have to take a check to the bank. 2, there is, in my opinion, more potential for bounces and things like that to happen with a paper check. So I just don't deal with it. I like money to be right there in my account deposited using a credit card or ACH transfer or something similar. So make sure to jot that down in your contract. And I always say this, for really anything in a contract, go over it with your client as well. When you are on their onboarding call, make sure that you just kind of run through. You can even just print off a copy of the contract, highlight pieces that you want to make sure you're clear on. And payment is one of those things that should be discussed. Now, you might be wondering, how should I actually break up the payments? Should it be a monthly payment? Should there be deposits? Here's what I recommend. For most services, if they're paying you for a month of social media management or community management or any type of retainer service where you're the on-call graphic designer or copywriter or whatever, you can accept one monthly payment. That's kind of industry standard, I would say. Now, if you're doing creative work, meaning you're going to build a website for them, you're going to shoot a video for them, you're going to design a logo, I would say what's more common in that situation is a deposit. I've worked with vendors that charge 30% deposits, and I've worked with vendors that charge 50%. So I'll leave that up to you on what you're most comfortable with. I would definitely keep in mind, how much energy and time and resources you're going to be putting into something, because if it's a lot, I of course would recommend putting that higher deposit in there, but make that due at signing, and then the other 50% or 70% or whatever you choose would be due either at handoff or at the midway point. I think the midway point is a more comfortable option because it really allows you to ensure that the project is paid for before you actually complete it. So that's totally up to you. Last thing about the contract is include a late fee in there too. This is pretty standard and shouldn't be too shocking to anyone. I've seen anywhere from 1.5% being pretty common to just a flat fee of like $30, $40, whatever makes sense. I usually do a percentage of the contract, so I'll do 1.5% is considered late after, the due date. Now, my next tip is to choose an easy payment method. It can get overwhelming if you're asking people to, direct deposit you or to do all of these different things. Maybe you do want a check. Maybe you do want this particular, type of bank transfer. It gets really overwhelming, and business owners are very busy. I mean, you're a business owner, right? So that's one of the reasons that I really like a tool like Melio, because you are actually able to just get your own link and simply just type in the invoice amount and the invoice number and send them a link. All they have to do is click on it. They can pay with their credit card right then and there, and it's paid. It's super, super easy. There's no complex tool to go into. There is no paper invoice that they're going to need to scan for their records and, do all of these things. It's just super, super seamless and easy. And I also really love using the Melio.me links because you can easily invoice for like one-off projects, meaning if somebody comes to me and they just need a impromptu consulting session, we didn't necessarily have it on the books, they didn't go through my CRM system or anything like that, I can just go ahead and send them the link via Instagram DM, via Slack, via email, via text message, whatever I need. It's super, super simple and straight to the point. And on the flip side, you can take your invoices that you receive from your contractors and pay them really easily as well. My next tip is to not be shy about reminders. Listen, it's business. I get it. You might feel like you're being rude by reminding people about your invoice, but people get busy. I am like very, very conscious of how I make other people feel. I'm very conscious of how I treat freelancers and people who work for me because I was them just a couple years ago. And even I have forgotten to pay invoices. I'm gonna be honest with you. My email inbox is constantly flooded. It is constantly overwhelming. And listen, those things sometimes just are easy to miss or to put off. And it's not intentional. It's not that I didn't have the money in the bank. I just forgot. And so reminding people as soon as they're late is really the only way to get around that. If you're using Melio, you can easily just resend the invoice, and you can do that as many times as you want to. Obviously, you don't want to harass them, but you can totally do it every day that it's late. And listen, they're gonna get tired of hearing from you at some point, and they're at least going to respond and say, hey, I thought I paid this. And you can say, nope, according to my records, you didn't. And listen, my last tip is quite simple. So I guess this is really 4 tips, not just 3 tips, but don't stand for it. Don't stand for it. I mean, I know it's easier said than done, but people will treat you how you allow them to treat you. This relates to everything in business, being rude, being insensitive, being late on payments. Listen, I understand everyone has a lot of things going on, and I try to be flexible with people, but if it becomes a pattern, you need to know when to let go. And again, this should also be something that's in your contract is, when you're able to walk away from contracts. And one of those reasons for me is non-payment. If a client is consistently late, meaning not just a day, but like 15 days, 30 days, they're always behind on their invoices, I'm not gonna work with them. I'm going to drop them. And actually, I'm gonna stop posting for them as well. If they're a social media management client, I don't keep things going and have them have these built up invoices so they're 3 months late and things like that. No, pause the services until they're caught up on their invoices. And even still, when that happens, you really have to think about, is this person an ideal client for me? Do I really want to be working with somebody who is consistently making me chase down payment, who is consistently, not being conscientious of my time? Because at the end of the day, even though using tools like Melio make it really easy and make it really simple, it is still brain power. It is still energy to have to go in, check on your invoices and say, oh, this one still isn't paid, resend. And as I say, time is money when you're an entrepreneur. You could be using, even if it's just 10 minutes, you could be using that 10 minutes on a different client that really values you and probably even pays you more. So know when to go. I wore my shirt just for this occasion. Okay, so I hope that these tips were helpful for getting paid on time. It's super important. Be firm, stand up, and don't forget to remind people when they're late. Again, thanks to Melio for partnering with me on this video. I love the tool. I think it is absolutely fantastic. I have my link set up, so whenever I need to invoice sort of on the spot, I'm gonna be able to just send them that Melio link and get paid right away without having to go into some complex Word doc or PDF and edit this invoice. It's just, it's done for me. I love it. I will have a link down below where you all can sign up. It is free, by the way, to sign up for that link. So, why not just have it in your back pocket, right? I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will talk to you next time.